Welcome in. It is Sunday. We got
Yeah.
a lot of games today. We're on week 9. So let's just not mess around. And we're answering all your questions, get you ready for this week, get them W's ahead of week 9. Just pray for a healthy week. Not a lot of people get hurt. That would be great. Because I don't know how much more we can take, especially at wide receiver. Feels like at this rate, we're going to be left with a bunch of bums at the end of the year.
Yep.
So anyways, let's get right into it. We got a lot of questions already in here. Good morning, TFA. I'm desperate in need of wide receiver help this week. Start 2 in a non-PPR league. Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman, and DeAndre Hopkins. Thanks. It's going to be the last two for me. The Bills just spread the ball around way too much. And so I think DeAndre Hopkins is more involved. It's a good matchup than he was last week. And then Cedric Tillman is obviously just been playing really, really well.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Because obviously with Amari and D-Hop, you have similar questions just surrounding like how much are they going to be involved. So you'd probably rather go with a Chiefs team that has quote unquote fewer mouths to feed.
Yeah, I agree. Michael, morning, half-point PPR, pick 2, Chubb, Ramondre, Rashad, Irving, Andrews, or Laporta.
It's going to be the first two for me. And then Andrews.
It's going to be Ramondre for sure. Looks like he's back to kind of being the full-on workhorse in that backfield. And then he doesn't say all of his other questions are half-point PPR, so maybe it's a half-point PPR. If it is,
it does say half. Well, okay, I see what you mean.
Oh wait, it does say it right here at the beginning. Dummy, half-point PPR. Reading, it's hard to do sometimes. I'm gonna go Chubb and Ramondre then. If it was full point PPR, I'd probably have more consideration for Rashad White.
Yeah.
But and then at tight end, I'm gonna go with Sam Laporta. I know Laporta has been great. He did see a pretty significant bump last week. I will say this game looks to be really gross. This is like the one game on the slate has really big weather concerns. It looks like you're looking at 15 to 20 mile an hour with 30 mile an hour wind gusts. It's going to rain the entire game. So it does worry me a little bit with the pass catchers here now with this game, which sucks because this game looked pretty good. It had some shootout potential. And I mean, sometimes we do overvalue weather a little bit, but more so wind is what I'm concerned about. But I do still think Laporta could get there. And then Waddle or Downs, this is going to be easy for me. I have Josh Downs as my wide receiver 12 this week. So, I mean, he's played like it. I mean, it's been weird. Like in his ownership, like he was on like the waivers last week because like he was only rostered in like 45% of leagues, and like he's put up like 15 or more PPR points in like almost every game this year. So, and now with Joe Flacco, it's just a huge bump. So it's Josh Downs for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Flex Dobbins or BTJ, already playing Aaron Jones, McLaurin, and Olave. I'm going to go with Brian Thomas.
Me too.
And then Dowdle, Rashad White, Chubb. It's still going to be Chubb at halfway PPR.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's between Dowdle and Chubb for me. Obviously with, we didn't really touch on inactives or anything like that. We are going to be without Zeke, I guess, for disciplinary reasons, which makes, bumps Dowdle a little bit. Cook didn't do anything to really put himself in the conversation to get more touches this week. So it'd be between those two for me, but I do lean Chubb. Close for me.
And then Tracy, Dobbins, Rashad White, Irving. It's going to be Tracy for me.
Yep. Love him this week.
And then thank you. This is the best, or this show is the best. Man. Like and subscribe. Jesus, Kevin. Rough start for the reading comprehension. But yes, hit that like, subscribe button. We do appreciate it. And we'll be live tonight for the waivers, and hopefully it's not another great waiver week because, like I said, we don't want any more injuries for a while.
Yeah, it's been, especially for you, a wide receiver, since you take care of wide receiver. It's it's been a rough go.
It's been a plentiful of options. AP, what's up? Zay, I guess that's Flowers or Dobbs. I did see that. I think Cedric Cecil Lammy, who covers the Broncos, said that they expect Surtain to shadow Zay Flowers today, and that is not a matchup that I want to mess with there. So probably Romeo Dobbs.
I'm probably still going to go with Zay, just because of the weather issues you were talking about, and then if they get out there and it's super sloppy, and we obviously still have Jordan Love dealing with this injury. Like, is that a case where they just take him out for like his own safety? You know what I mean? Slipping around and dealing with all that weather, still dealing with that groin injury. I'm not necessarily surprised because it's a divisional game, but I kind of was thinking that he was going to sit out this week since they have their bye next week. So I'd probably still lean Zay here. I think he does go in the slot for at least like 25% of his snaps. So, might be able to get away just a little bit. They do get him involved on screens and whatnot too. So I'm going to lean Zay here.
Super Dave. Add Coker or Travion Williams, flex Odunze, McMillan, Coker, Travion Williams, or Singletary, full PPR. It'd be Coker for me. Travion Williams, I feel like we've talked about Travion Williams for years. Like when Joe Mixon was there, it'd be like, oh, Joe Mixon's banged up. Well, Travion Williams has never been anything ever. I don't expect that to start today. So it's definitely Coker. Coker's been seeing actually a pretty solid target share. Obviously, Deontay Johnson's gone. We thought maybe Adam Thielen was going to be activated. He's not. As last I saw, he was doubtful. So
he's not, yeah.
And so Coker, I think, can at least probably see 6 to 8 targets in this game. And so I think it's Coker for me. And then in the flex, I probably would go. I think it's Odunze.
Yeah, I don't want to get too cute. I think Coker is interesting this week, especially with Marshawn Lattimore being out. But at the end of the day, it's still Bryce Young. Like I thought he looked pretty okay last week in a much tougher matchup, but I think with some of these other options, I'd rather go there. Also, the Bears' implied team total is 3 points higher than the Panthers as well. So,
yeah, and just a little news: Brian Robinson. If anybody was looking at playing Brian Robinson, he was just ruled out. So,
yeah, when I went to pull up Twitter right before we hopped on to see if there were any like last minute actives, inactives, there was a video of him warming up, and one of the, I'm assuming it was a beat reporter, said that like he never really like opened it up during his warm-ups, and his workout did not look very inspiring. So
yeah. So no Brian Robinson today. So if you have Austin Eckler, big boost for him. And then I think they also elevated Chris Rodriguez, which is, he'll get run. I mean, so like if you're absolutely desperate looking for like an option, like he definitely, because I think he'll be very similar, because they're not, because we've seen this before, right? Like with them where when Brian Robinson missed earlier, and I mean Austin Eckler still didn't see some massive workload or anything in that. But I would have to be like super desperate to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not like saying you should definitely go pick him up or anything. Good morning, Puka or Tyreek Hill with reasoning. Then for the flex, James Cook, Chase Brown, or whoever wasn't picked previously between Tyreek and Puka.
I really wish we wouldn't have seen all the questions surrounding Puka, and then he goes out and balls. because it doesn't sound very inspiring for this week either. Like he's gonna play, but it said he's going to attempt to try to play, which doesn't sound doesn't sound fucking great to me. But like it's so hard to sit him with, we weren't expecting much from Puka. And the last game we saw him, and he came out and had like the first 3 targets or something like that. They were using him on end rounds and all that other shit. So between Puka and Tyreek, having said that, I would go Tyreek. And then for the flex, man, I guess Puka. I mean, I really like Cook and Brown this week, but it's God. I just hate everything surrounding the Puka situation, but it's so hard to sit him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it wasn't that big of a deal from what was reported, that basically he banged his knee against the turf or something like that. It wasn't anything to do with like a re-injury of the injury he was already dealing with. So I think if he plays, I think you just take it as like, after what we saw last week, I wouldn't be wanting to sit him again.
Right.
And so, but the other tough part is, we know Tyreek is what he's capable of, right? And so I'm playing both of them. Like, I know that, like, I don't, like, you have good other options, like with James Cook, obviously. Chase Brown's obviously a much better play this week because of Zach Moss being out. But I can't sit either one of those guys. Like, both of those guys are walking 30-plus point upside. And there has been games that Tyreek has been able to get there, but it is scary because I was looking at the numbers, like Tua's career, he's never been good against the Bills ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's had one 300-yard passing game and was first start against them in his rookie season, and now like that's it. It's been a lot of like one touchdown or no touchdown and 2 or 3 interception games against them. He just hasn't ever been able to perform well against them. But still, it's Tyreek Hill. Like I mean, it's a super risky sit to sit somebody like that could have 30-plus points on your bench. If I had to choose one of them to sit, it probably would be Tyreek, just based purely off matchup and just how good they've been against outside wide receivers. And if I was going to start somebody of these two, it would be James Cook. But you have to have some pretty big cojones to sit Tyreek Hill. And then Super Dave, I traded Achane, Marvin Harris Jr., and J-Mo for Chase, B-Rob, and Chubb. Good. I personally would have wanted the Achane and Marvin Harrison side, I think. Mainly because I think like Achane has been phenomenal this year. Like if you look at his numbers, he is putting up RB1 production, and then he's also separate that. Like if you took away all of his rushing upside, he still would be like wide receiver 2 on a wide receiver 2. So you're getting an RB1 plus RB2 wide receiver 2 numbers with him, and so in the games with Tua. So, like, he's hard to move on from. Obviously, Chase is really good, but Chase just hasn't obviously been Ja'Marr Chase. He had that one monster game weeks ago, but like it just hasn't really like it's been T Higgins has been like the skeleton key of that offense, which is weird this year.
Never been that way before.
Yeah, and so. And Brian Robinson has been in and out of the lineup with injuries. I mean, he's been good when he's played, but and then Chubb, like maybe Chubb can get it, but Chubb's also averaging like 1.8 yards per carry. Like it hasn't been good. Volume has been there, but the actual production hasn't followed. But so I think I probably would have rather have had the Achane side.
I lean the Achane side as well, but like I don't hate.
Yeah, you didn't get like fleeced or anything like that, and like it's certainly possible the Bengals could turn it around in the second half, and then Chase gets going, and this all plays out and works out really well for you. Like I don't think it's like you didn't get like crushed by it. I just probably would have preferred the Achane side.
Yeah.
Also, our running backs are Alvin Kamara and Devon Achane, our other wide receivers from Lake Neighbors. If you want to switch any of them, no, I'm not switching any of them.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask Trez, like, who else are you starting? Because I do like Cook and Brown this week. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. That's why we don't have one of them in there.
Yeah. Noel Tillman, Tracy, or BTJ if he plays full PPR. This is Tyrone Tracy for me.
torn between Tracy and BTJ. I think I would lean BTJ. Yeah, I'm gonna lean BTJ, but it's really close between him and Tracy for me. Just kind of go toward BTJ with the thought of like what happens if Washington jumps out to a big lead over the Giants and Tracy doesn't see as many touches.
The only thing I want to point out is schematically, this isn't a good matchup for Brian Thomas. So the Eagles are a major slot funnel. They allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, or opposing slot wide receivers, but they rank 10th best against outside wide receivers. So that's the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit. We know Christian Kirk is out, but they're also running a heavy 12 personnel set. So that's why, like, I know people are going to want to play Parker Washington. This is just not a good Parker Washington game in my mind, because I think this is going to be Evan Ingram who's going to benefit the most. So Brian Thomas can definitely get there. I mean, he's super explosive, and I think it's possible to move him around, put him inside the slot, and do some other stuff with him. So I definitely think he can get there, but I just wanted to point that
out. Real quick, to Amari Cooper, inactive.
Okay. Well, I guess it clears things up a little bit for the pass catchers there. It's not as convoluted.
It looks like Trevon Diggs will be active today as well. Yes. For the Cowboys.
Yeah, I saw that one. Mooney, Tillman, or Madison, half PPR. This is going to be Mooney for me. Mooney's a top 24 wide receiver play for me.
Mooney.
And then Jacoby, Downs, Mooney, or Tillman. Could you have any more wide receivers that I absolutely love this week? But so I love Jacoby Myers. Darnell Mooney is solid, and I love Josh Downs. But it's going to be Josh Downs. Like I said, I have Josh Downs as a top, top 12 wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm with you. Josh Downs for me.
Harold. Hi, Hubbard, Kupp, Mooney need 2 in a standard league. It's going to be Kupp and Hubbard for me.
Yep, first 2.
EC, Dak, or Kyler. Kyler's playing better, but matchups have me leaning Dak as a possible high-scoring game with Kyler faces a tough Bears D. Thoughts? So it's Dak for me. I know it's scary. I know Dak hasn't played well. I know all those things considered. When you look at those things, it worries you. But this is a great matchup for Dak Prescott to get back on track. Dak actually played better in the second half last week. I will also say, if you have Kyler Murray, at first, when I first started looking at this, I felt the same as a lot of people when it came to Kyler Murray and wanting to play him. I have actually bumped him back up. I had him outside of my top 10 for quarterbacks this week. I have him now back inside my top 10 because so the Bears play cover 3 at one of the highest, or the highest rate in the league. And Kyler Murray, much like last week when people looked at Kyler Murray last week and didn't want to play him, the Dolphins also are like top 5 in cover 3, and Kyler Murray has absolutely torched cover 3 this year. It's by far his best schematic matchup that he sees or that he plays against. And so I actually think he's actually a good play in this matchup, but I still would lean Dak just because agreed. This game has absolute shootout potential. Michael, pick 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Running backs are Hubbard, Dobbins, or Tracy. This is going to be Tracy for me.
Yeah.
And then wide receivers are Brian Thomas, Marvin Harris, or DJ Moore. 2 wide receivers here. This is going to be Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore.
I would sit Marv.
Ooh, okay. And then Njoku, Pitts, or Ingram. This is, oh my goodness, bro. Because I love Njoku and I absolutely love Evan Ingram. Because like I just talked about, like it's a phenomenal matchup for him.
I got to go Ingram here.
I think I go Ingram too, but man, Michael, make some trades, bro. Like
yeah, dude.
Like you are loaded at tight end right now.
It's funny because you probably picked all of them up because all of them have been struggling and or out at some point, and now they're all balling. So there has to be somebody in that league that needs help. I would put them all in the trade block, and then whatever 2 of the best offers I got, that's who I would go with.
I agree. Jimbo, Taysom Hill, Tolbert, ETN, PPR.
Oh boy. So in the second one, I'm assuming we're both going to be Tyrone Tracy on that one between Reed or Tracy. I know obviously the matchup sets up really well for Jayden Reed. Like I guess I'm gonna be taking the cautious approach with that entire offense. So that's gonna be Tracy for me on the last one, and on that first one, Jimbo Fisher. That kind of comes down to like, do you need to swing for the fences? Because if you do, I'm going Taysom Hill. If not, I probably go Tolbert. You know, he probably has a safer floor, but Taysom could obviously go out there. And I think with the injuries they have, Derek Carr's first game back, he could be more involved in this one. But with Taysom, you know what you're getting. You're either getting 6 points or 36 points. There's no in between.
I think I would go ETN here on that one for me, just because. So the Eagles are really good against the run, but they really struggle against pass catching running backs, and I think that is Travis Etienne's role. And also with Tank Bigsby this week dealing with this injury, like it's possible that Etienne actually gets even more run than what we'd expect. But Etienne either way is the best pass catcher they have out of that backfield with him back. And then on the other side, that's tough for me because actually, so it's kind of a weird thing here with Jayden Reed this week because on the surface, it sets up to be an absolute smash spot for Jayden Reed because the Lions have been an absolute slot funnel this year. They've been targeted 39% of the time, and they've allowed the most fantasy points to slot wide receivers this season. Reed obviously plays the slot 78% of the time. The Lions have also been really bad against generating pressure this year. They have allowed the 6th lowest pressure rate this season, meaning Love should have plenty of time to throw. But the one downside is the Lions play man coverage at 43% of the time, which is the highest rate in the league. And Jayden Reed has been absolute cheeks against man coverage this year. Like they're terrible against man coverage, or he's been terrible. He is crushed against zone. But, obviously they're still at almost 57% of the time where they're not playing, he is playing zone. But so it kind of goes back and forth. And also you have the weather concern here too. But I think Tracy just provides, if you're looking for a safer floor, I think it's definitely Tracy just because we know he's going to probably get 15 to 20 touches in this game. Where Reed, I think, has a higher ceiling, in my opinion. So I think it just depends on what it is you're looking for, how your lineup's set up, which one I would choose. So, Will Hayes, who should I start my flex? J.K. Dobbins, Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore. It's going to be Darnell Mooney for me.
I'm going to go DJ Moore by a smidge.
I don't know. He just hasn't been great this year. Like he's not been necessarily terrible. He just really hasn't provided a lot. Like, I don't know. It's been frustrating with him. Ryan, good morning. I need one wide receiver, one flex from McConkey, Lockett, Tillman, Coleman, Javonte, or ETN. Half point PPR. So it's going to be McConkey. And I'm going to go Keon Coleman here.
I'm going to go McConkey and Tillman. But it's close between Tillman and Coleman.
I don't mind that either. I don't mind the call of going Tillman over Coleman either. I think it's really close.
I just feel like in Coleman's matchup, whenever he gets put up against oh my God, why is his name escaping me?
Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah. Just with Coleman's his struggles against separating, I feel like that could be a tough matchup. Like a physical corner like Ramsey going up against Coleman. Now, how often they're matched up obviously remains to be seen, but
yeah,
I would go Tillman.
Kyle, full PPR, Love or Cousins. Gonna be Cousins for me.
Yep.
And then Dobbs or McMillan, I would go Dobbs.
McMillan,
Bengals or Chargers?
Bengals.
I agree. Worried about the rain in Green Bay. Yeah, it is a little bit of a turn. It's not necessarily the rain that bothers me. Rain is really not that big of a deal. It's more so the wind. Wind ends up being the bigger. That's the thing you should always look for in games, especially now we're getting close to this time of the year. Now we're hitting November now. I mean, you're going to start seeing a lot more, especially in the northern games. You're going to start seeing a lot more bad weather. So that's the thing that I would pay the most attention to is the wind, especially anything over 20 miles an hour. Anything from the 20-mile-an-hour range, you basically want to stay away from.
And not
Scott,
that this really is gonna, I don't expect too many questions on this guy, but Jermaine Burton is also out, which just find it interesting.
it is weird because he played like 41% of the snaps last week, hauled in a big
Yeah,
pass.
I thought especially with I'm gonna try and see if there's like what's the issue, but yeah, I thought he would be seeing increased usage this week.
Yeah, and then flex Jacobs, Dobbins, Brian Robinson. So Brian Robinson, obviously, this probably came in before we said that, but Brian Robinson's out, so that makes it slims it down a little bit. Or Brian Thomas Jr. I would go with Jacobs on this one.
So Cousins, and then I think Jacobs is probably the better play. So it seems like Jermaine Burton just has been like sleeping through team warm-ups and like not showing up to like meetings.
I never understand these things with these guys. Like, dude, you're a rookie
No.
wide receiver. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is why, like, just guys just never make it. Like, you have such an opportunity to, be something, and he just is one of those dudes that like just doesn't really seem like he cares about football. Like, and just does dumb stuff. Talent is there. Like, talent's never been a question for him. Like, he has ridiculous talent.
Yeah, why he's bounced around in college, and then he didn't really fall too much in the draft, but his talent should have had him higher.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
And he's pissing it away again. I'm trying to decide between Waddle and Michael Pittman in full point PPR.
Pittman.
I think I agree. Yeah. Start 2.5 point PPR. Bigsby, Romeo Dobbs, or Cedric Tillman. This is going to be the last two.
Yeah, finally going to get me on a Dobbs question.
Wake and bake.
Hell yeah.
Love, Baker, or Stafford. This is going to be Stafford for me.
Yep.
Jacobs, 6-2, tied for first. Think I should trade Waddle and Hockenson for Evans. Other wide receivers are Brown, McLaurin, Odunze, McMillan. Other tight ends are Laporta. Thanks. You both have a great day. You have a great day too, Jacob. But this is what I would not be wanting to trade for Mike Evans. I know you're 6-2, but just worries me with that injury because they are on bye week 11. So I think it's the earliest he could come back is week 12. And I know you're not necessarily giving up a ton. I don't know. I guess maybe it's not terrible because, I mean, you've basically gotten to this point without Waddle. Waddle has done nothing. Hockenson, hasn't obviously played all year. So it could be kind of – I just wonder if you could get something more or better that could help you in the immediate versus the long-term ad.
I think I would probably do it.
Yeah, the more I think about it,
you're obviously taking the risk here, but if it works out, it's going to work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially once he is back. I mean, it's hard not to see him sitting like a monster target share.
Yep.
And I mean, he could be somebody that could be like a league winner for you, down the stretch of the fantasy playoffs because you're already in a really good spot at 6-2. So, yeah, I think I agree now. More I thought about it. Austin, a full PPR. Start Otton, Worthy, Eckler, or Mostert.
Otton.
I think I agree. I don't know. Austin Eckler now is pretty interesting. But yeah, I think I go Otton. Lux Real Estate, start or sit BTJ or Mooney in the flex. I'm going to go Mooney, but it's tough for me because I love Brian Thomas. But I'm just going to go with who has the better matchup, and I think it's Mooney.
Yeah, we're not going to be much help because I would lean BTJ here. If you have the same issue in two teams, I'd probably split the difference, to be honest with you. Because I don't have strong conviction either way. Like, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if Mooney has a better day. Like, not one bit. So if I had the same, I would split the difference, to be honest. I'd live that hedge life.
I think the way to look at it is, I think Darnell Mooney has the safer floor here just because of the game environment. I mean, he's been a top 15 wide receiver this year, but he's not someone that's really going to provide you like a much of a ceiling. Where I think Brian Thomas could actually have the higher ceiling, but a much lower floor, if that makes sense. Because Brian Thomas has the worst matchup here. Like I've said, the Eagles are bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to outside wide receivers. So for Mooney, it's just a much better matchup for him. But I do think Brian Thomas probably has a higher ceiling because I mean he could easily house call a 60-yard touchdown at any time and get there. So I think that's the way that I would look at it. Drake May, Caleb Williams, or Bo Nix. This is gonna be Bo Nix for me.
Going Caleb Williams, but I've not been able to nail down the Bo Nix week, so.
It's just the stone cold best matchup. I mean, the Ravens secondary has been dreadful. I mean, just terrible all year. And they've been absolutely torched all year. And the other thing I like about Bo Nix is rushing upside. So, I mean, he could get you 50, 60 yards rushing as well. So, I actually like Drake May, and actually I would play Drake May over Caleb Williams too. But it'd still be Bo Nix for me. Bo Nix is like my QB12.
The same from the Lux Real Estate team.
Oh. Dylan, Dak or Darnold today? It's going to be Dak.
Dak.
So I just traded B-Rob, McNichols, Ford, or Singletary. Probably go McNichols and hope for the best, but I don't know how that's going to play out, but I don't necessarily love it.
I think I agree. If I felt better about the Giants game script, probably lean Singletary, but I think McNichols probably has like the higher touch ceiling, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, and just this one really quick. I don't know if he updated it, but Adam Schefter tweeted it that he's out. So it was showing he was last night about 10 hours ago. They said that he was expected to play.
Yeah.
And then now it's been about 10, 15 minutes ago. It was ruled out. So anyways, Sip, full PPR. Should I pick up Flacco and play over Geno with DK out? Yes, I would play Flacco with Geno out.
Yep.
Pick up Parker Washington, play if BTJ's out. Well, BTJ, I believe, is playing, or play Tillman. I would play Tillman.
I go BTJ. It seems like this is going to be the one that defines the week for Kevin and I.
Well, is he saying he has Brian? Does he saying he has Brian Thomas, or is he saying that he's thinking about playing Parker Washington if Brian Thomas is out? Oh, and play. Oh yeah.
So it seemed to me as if Simp was asking, like, if the possibility of BTJ is out, do I pick up Parker Washington and play him over Tillman?
Okay. Well, if he has Brian Thomas, then I would play Brian Thomas. I was reading this as like he was going to pick up Parker Washington if Brian Thomas was out as a play. But yeah.
Yeah, but Brian Thomas is expected to play. So I would play BTJ over Tillman.
Yeah. Walito, Taysom Hill, Javante,
Wally.
Eckler, Leggett need 2. So it's going to be Austin Eckler and Taysom Hill for me.
I agree.
Oh, keep clicking it. Wasn't doing it. Raylan, what's up, guys? Happy Football Sunday. Happy Football Sunday to you, Raylan. Thoughts on Jerome Ford this week? I just picked him up with B-Rob out. Also got Warren on bye. It's a desperation start. Like, I think he's probably going to be involved in the passing game as the pass catching running back here in this game ahead of, with Nick Chubb. But like, if it's a desperation play, assuming it's full PPR, I don't think he's a terrible play. He's just not. I'm not excited to play him either. Let's put it that way, because it's not necessarily the best matchup. But I do think there's, like I said, I think it's a shot that he plays, 35, 40% of the snaps, and maybe he gets some, some dump offs, some pass catching work.
Would you rather play McNichols or Ford?
Probably McNichols, and hope he just falls in the end zone.
That's where I'm at. I was trying to think of like maybe somebody that would be available for Brunel to pick up, and I think I'd rather play McNichols over Ford.
Yeah. Harry, Dak or Bo Nix? The PPR part doesn't matter. It's Dak for me.
Dak.
Eric, PPR, Stevenson, Chuba, or Calvin Ridley?
I think I'm going to go Stevenson.
I think so too. Like, I know Calvin Ridley's coming off a monster game, so it's like, and I do think that he's not a bad option this week against but I also think he's going to see a lot of Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez has been very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been like their lockdown corner. So, and Stevenson's just back to saying like this monster workload again. So I think I would go Stevenson.
Yeah, I think he just has the safer floor.
Yeah, thoughts of Tracy Wilson reporting that Estime is going. I don't care. I do not want to play a running back against the Ravens. I don't care who it is. Like they have just been phenomenal against running backs here. They're right there with kind of the Chiefs and everything else. And teams just don't really try to run against them anymore because they have been so good at it. But you can absolutely torch them through the air. So it makes zero sense for them to like, oh, we're going to get them more involved. Like it's just a bad formula. Like, just throw the ball against them. Like what every team has done. And I expect that's what they're going to do. I mean, we saw last week them really open it up and throw the ball at a decent rate against the Panthers, and they've been exploiting those matchups. So I don't know why they would all of a sudden. I mean, I don't even know what getting more involved means, but that just all that means to me is that it's going to be like a 3-headed backfield, which is just gross, anyways, because his backfield's been really bad altogether this year. So
that was going to be my
excited about.
Yeah, that was going to be my point too. Like, what does it actually look like? Is that 6 touches instead of 2? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Michael, I think this one is. I'm assuming that's Amari Cooper, so that's already solved for you. So that is Dowdle.
Yep.
Starts Goff or Staff. This is Stafford for me. It's not close.
Stafford.
And then Bears or Chargers. It's gonna be Chargers. Or actually, take that back. I'm gonna go Bears. I don't really actually like either one of these. Jameis worries me because Jameis can go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns again. But he can also throw 2 interceptions and some pick sixes. And I mean, he should have had multiple last week. But I think I would lean the Bears.
I lean the Bears as well.
And then Raylan, bad week for me. Pick 3: Waddle, Reed, Dobbs, Bigsby, Ridley, Mostert, Coker, or BTJ.
If this is your bad week, Raylan, you're doing all right.
I would go Waddle, Reed, and BTJ.
Yeah. I agree.
LA Standard League, Ladd, D-Hop, or Javante. It's going to be Ladd McConkey for me.
Ladd.
Jeffrey, Chubb or Downs? This is Chubb. Sorry, Josh Downs. Hopefully, it just immediately, as soon as you heard me say it, click out. It's
Wow.
100% Josh Downs for me.
Especially in a full PPR.
Yes. Jay Dallas. Pick 2, Dowdle, White, JSN, or Coleman. I'm going to go Dowdle and Keon Coleman.
Yep.
You would think it would be JSN, especially with DK Metcalf out, but he just hasn't been very good.
Yep.
EC, Chargers or Titans. It's going to be Titans for me and hope for the best. Really, the main thing is the Patriots' offensive line has been terrible. They've allowed, it's like almost 4 sacks a game at the position. So I would just slightly lean go to the Titans. I think game script too. You're not really worried about this being like some sort of like shootout or anything like that. It feels kind of a little bit of like a gross game. So that should help. It's a little bit safer with 4.
I feel like we have a better chance of turnovers with the Chargers, so I'm going to leave the Chargers here. I still question how good they actually are because they haven't played anybody, but it's Jameis, so.
Yeah, this JSN or Waddle for not good. This is going to be Waddle for me.
Yeah, I get it. I think Achan's going to be fine. Bills have kind of been a run funnel defense. Like Kev was talking about earlier, you're basically getting, you take away all the rushing production and you still have a wide receiver too.
Hawkinson or Kraft?
Was Hawkinson activated?
Mm-hmm.
Now we go Hawk.
Yeah, I think I agree. Brian Robinson out, need to flex 2 full PPR. Tillman, Tracy, BTJ, or Eckler. I'm going to go Tracy and Eckler.
Tracy and BTJ.
Abreu, Chubbard or Pollard? There's going to be Pollard for me.
Chubbard.
Did I say Chubbard? My goodness.
Hey, dude, it actually works. It actually
does.
works.
I mixed his name. Yeah, Hubbard.
I kind of like Chubbard. Is Pollard good to go?
Yes.
I think I would still go Chuba, but
which I'm happy he is because in DFS that means I don't have to try to decide if I'm going to play Julius Chestnut or not. So at 4K, so that helps big time. But I would go Pollard. Now we need a RB2 and 2 starts at flex. B-Rob out. Singletary, McNichols, Ray Davis, Dunze. I would go Ray Davis here and just hope that he finds the end zone. And then Odunze, McMillan, and Coker. I'm going to go with Odunze.
So I'm going to go McNichols, Odunze, and can I actually start Coker over McMillan? I think I would. Yeah. I would go Coker over McMillan.
Jordan Love or Kyler Murray? I'm going to go Kyler here.
Kyler.
2 QB league. Should I start Geno or Jameis? It's going to be Jameis for me.
Yep.
And KCD or Minnesota defense. It's going to be Kansas City's for me.
KC. I would not. I would still go Coker over Yoshi.
Yeah. Foo, sup guys? Madison or Eckler? It's going to be Eckler.
Eckler.
Fantasy Gurus, what's up, gentlemen? Hope you are doing well. Need a flex for today. Marv, Waddle, or Eckler? It's going to be Marvin Harrison for me.
Yeah, I would go Marv.
Raylan, the absolute GOAT. Tweet, like the stream if you guys like winning in your fantasy leagues. Also, consider subscribing. That helps as well. So appreciate everybody here rocking with us, answering all the questions. Yeah, Zamir White is active today. Doesn't really matter. Brian, have a fantastic. I hope you have a good day too. Brian, Jay, BTJ, D Hops, Shakir, Myers. Pick one. It's gonna be Jacoby Myers for me.
Oh my god. Well, going down with the fucking ship. Give me Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, either you're going to be all in today, or look great today, and everyone's going to be cussing me out, or the opposite. You know, at least. Start 2 PPR: Douglas, Tolbert, Elijah Moore, Coker, or Leggett. This is going to be very easily for me. Very easily, Demario Douglas and Elijah Moore. I absolutely love both of them today. And Tingley, I am putting my hard-earned money behind it, and I'm playing a lot of them in DFS.
Just real quick, the last one, Jay. If it makes you feel any better, Myers would be my second one. For Tingley, definitely feel better with Douglas. Drake May clearing concussion protocol, so I agree. I'm going to go Douglas there. Man.
The reason I like Elijah Moore so much is I know Cedric Tillman had the big week last week, but Elijah Moore actually led the team in first read target share last week. He's seeing a lot of targets as well. I think he's seen like 21 over the last 2 games. So I just really like Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I'll go Elijah Moore as well.
Daryl, hey guys, good morning. Do I start Evan Ingram or Dalton Kincaid? This is easily Evan Ingram for me.
Ingram.
Tua, Winston, Flacco. Need 2. It's going to be Winston and Flacco for me. I have Tua as my QB 25 this week. I absolutely do not want any part of Tua in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate you, Super Dave.
Yes, absolutely. Appreciate you. Walito, Leggett, or Coker? I think I link Leggett here.
I think so too.
Brandon, Marvin Harrison, or Waddle at flex? It's going to be Marvin Harrison for me.
Yeah.
Dylan, what's up? Season's on the line. So season's on the line. Full PPR, different league. Start 1. Ertz, Komet, Taysom. It's going to be Taysom for me.
Yeah, I'm going to make that swing with Taysom.
And then start 1 running back, 1 flex. Dobbins, Jacobs, Terry McLaurin, Downs. I'm going to go Terry McLaurin and Downs here.
No, we need a running back and 1 flex.
You're right. That does say 1 running back and 1 flex. So I can't pick both of those. I'm going to go with Josh Downs and Josh Jacobs.
Give me the 2 Joshes. Dylan, who else are you starting at wide receiver? Just curious. Because I really like McLaurin today as well as Downs. I do have Downs slightly over McLaurin, but I like both. But it would be Jacobs over Dobbins. But I'm curious who else you're starting at receiver.
Yeah, I agree. Good morning. Do I start Kincaid or Evan Ingram? This is. Oh wait, do I get that? Maybe not. I don't. This is easily Ingram and Worthy
Smitty.
or Smitty. Yes, it's going to be Smitty. Aiden, Josh Downs, or Jalen Waddle. It's going to be Josh Downs.
Josh Downs.
Brian, Cedric Tillman or Brian Thomas. I'm going to go Brian Thomas.
All right.
Worthy or Thomas with the injury prediction dip. I don't think there's going to be a production dip for him. I think their bigger concern is the matchup dip, but I would still probably go with Brian Thomas here.
Yeah.
Gucci, Ingram or Ferguson full PPR. This is going to be Ingram.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me whether or not BTJ plays. He is going to play, but it would still be Ingram.
Yeah. Blue knockout. Need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Downs, JSN, Dobbs, Reed, Chubb, or I'm guessing that's Javonte Williams. Downs the lock. And then I would go with Jaden Reed. And then at flex, I would go with JSN.
Downs, Reed, Chubb for me.
Secret. I need 2 to start full PPR. Hunt, Tracy, or Downs. Leading Downs and Hunt.
Yep.
I would go Downs and Tracy.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant.
Colin, Rico or JSN or Ridley?
think if you need floor, you go Rico. If you're shooting for ceiling, you go Ridley.
Yeah, I think I agree. Emmanuel, 7-1, 10-team
Yeah.
PPR. Leggett or Taysom? It's going to be Taysom. Going up
Yep.
against another team that's 7-1 for outright lead. He has
Ooh.
already played. Garrett Wilson mix it. So, yeah, I would go Taysom for sure.
Yeah, still swinging Taysom there.
Chargers D or Vikings? It's going to be Chargers for me.
Oh. Yeah, Chargers.
I also have Jacobs and Connor.
I'll scroll up. Oh, so Hunt, Tracy, Downs need 2. So I'm assuming you're already playing Jacobs and Connor, right?
I would assume.
Yeah, so I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. Down bad. Dalvin Cook or Chestnut? It's going to be Dalvin Cook.
Again, is McNichols available? I would go McNichols over both of these.
Bulldog. Good morning. Njoku
Woo-woo.
or Otten? Oh, Lord. I have both these guys at top 5 tight or top 6 tight ends. I have Njoku at 4, and I have Cade Otten at 6. So, yeah.
I would lean Otten, but it's a coin flip.
Kincaid or Taysom Hill for Brandon. This is going to be Taysom Hill for me.
What could go wrong? Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Tyler, hey fellas, half point PPR, pick 2. Waddle, Lockett, Wandale, or Mostert. This is going to be the first 2 for me. And a half point. If it was full point PPR, I might consider more of Wandale, but half point, I'm going to go with Lockett and Waddle.
I'm going to go Lockett and Mostert. I think Mostert probably has the higher touchdown ceiling over Waddle.
Tingley, Titans, Pats, Lions, Rams, or Cardinals DST?
Titans, Pats, Lions, Rams, Cardinals.
I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Windy, Kush, Ridley, or Devonta Smith? Half a minute, too. I'm going to go with Smitty here.
Smitty.
Hoosier, what up, yo? What up, Hoosier? Jay Smells, start 2. Puka, Pollard, Tracy, Olave. Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Puka and Olave. That is tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Who are you starting at running back?
Yeah, let us know. C. Anthony, Golf or Tua? It's going to be Golf.
Goff, I guess, yeah.
Brandon Gregory, Shakir or Dobbs the flex? This is going to be Shakir for me.
Shakir.
See, Anthony, if there's anybody else available, let me know. I'd like to know. Like, is there like I assume Bo Nix isn't available, but I would definitely rather play him.
I was going to say Flacco.
Flacco for sure.
I was curious about that. I was going to say the same thing.
Because it worries me too with Goff being outdoors. Like, we know Goff just does not play very well outdoors. It's just his MO. Like, he just.
And now if you're adding the rain and the wind into it as well.
Yeah. And so, like, I actually, like, low-key would rather play Derek Carr as well if he's sitting out there. Somebody that probably was dropped. I'd rather play Derek Carr. I'd actually rather play Daniel Jones.
What? Speak up?
Yeah, Daniel Jones, which I've never heard this nickname, but I saw yesterday or the day before. I can't remember what day it was. And Vanilla Vic. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, I've never heard that. But that actually, you know.
I was on Pro Football Reference and just looking up Tyrone Tracy's because I was looking at some of his props. And I was going to take his rushing over, but the line ended up moving on me before I could take it. But I was looking at his game logs. You know how they have like the nicknames on Pro Football Reference? They had Paul Pierce next to his. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I forgot that. I was talking to my buddy the other day, trying to think of I was like, dude, who was that? There was someone we thought that like he was going to be dead for the year. And then like 10 hours later, it was like, hey, actually he's okay. And he's going to play. And it was Tracy. I couldn't remember who it was. I remembered it happening. And then when I saw Paul Pierce as the nickname for Tracy, I was like, there it is.
Yeah, that is funny. That was funny when that happened because it was like because I know we both really liked him as a sleeper option, and it was like, oh, that sucks, man. And then all of a sudden it's like, never mind, it's game on.
He's gonna be okay, and he'll be ready for week 1.
I think we answered this. I can't remember now, but this was Shakir.
Yeah.
TX, BTJ, or Shakir. I would go BTJ here.
Yep.
Chargers or Vikes D. I would go Chargers.
Chargers.
Ladd or Coker, easily not even close for me. Ladd McConkey.
Yep.
Daryl, Bills defense or Arizona? It's gonna be Bills.
Bills.
Hoosier digging deep here. Singletary or Rojo? Slayton or Ness or Nick Westbrook?
It's like, is Rojo a thing now?
Is this what we're calling him? At first I was like Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
Oh. What?
Same thing.
So I'm gonna say this: if I'm like looking at Slayton would be the guy I would go with, but I think another like really low key. You want to talk about a deep play that might be sitting out there is Troy Franklin. I think he is a very if you're looking for that because he's earned an elite 45.5% target rate versus man coverage this year and ranks top 10 in fantasy points per route run against man coverage, where the Ravens run the highest amount of man coverage this year. So Troy Franklin, I actually think, is like a sneaky play this week. If we're getting this deep, I think that's somebody I would look at.
I like that call. Yeah, I'll rock with you on that one.
And then, but if I had to choose between the two, if those are the only two available, it'd be Slayton, and then I would go probably Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, Roschon. Just hope he snakes a goal line touch. Well, that's why.
Yeah. Who to start, Love or Darnold? This is going to be Darnold for me.
Darnold.
John, hey dudes, line up for today. Daniels, Henry, Mixon, Reed, Amonra, Monty, Njoku with Flowers, or Mooney, Flowers, Bucky, Love on the bench. Look all right to you. Yeah, I think so. I'm good with that. The only consideration would be maybe if you wanted to play Mooney over Jaden Reed, but I think I would still slightly lean Jaden Reed.
Yeah, I think I would keep it the same. Man, you just better hope that Green Bay game isn't gross.
Yeah.
With
Clock Guy, should I try to work a trade this morning or wait until the Sunday game since trade won't go through?
I would just wait because, especially without knowing exactly what this is. The last thing you want to do is put out a trade and one of your guys gets injured and it gets accepted. So I would wait.
Yes, I would agree. DG pick 3 Coop Cup, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Downs, Swift, Mooney. Hard decisions. Yes, very hard. This is going to be Cup,
Tyreek and Downs for me.
I think I agree with you. Yeah. Nakua or Downs. It's still going to be Nakua, even though I love Josh Downs.
Yeah.
I would try to see if you can fit both of them in. Eckler or Hunt. This is going to be Eckler for me.
Hunt.
Over on Twitch, ZD's Charbonnet or Bigsby. I think I would just go Bigsby and just hope that he finds the end zone.
Yeah.
McConkey, Waddle, or Nakua. This is going to be Nakua for me.
Puka.
We buy homes, non-PPR in the flex. Would you start Hunt, Reed, or Pollard? I would probably go Kareem Hunt here.
Yeah.
And my other starters are JJ London, Dave Montgomery, looking for upside. Didn't have a good start with Breece Hall. Yeah, Breece Hall absolutely was not great. Roschon Johnson has been getting all the goal line carries recently. Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
Same one. Same question. Yeah. So.
No, we had looks like we have Smitty thrown into the mix. So if that's the case, I'd rather go Smitty. Even in non-PPR.
I would still probably go Kareem Hunt just because he's seeing just such a ridiculous amount of touches. You feel like this is probably a good game script. It has been getting a lot of goal line touches as well. That's the only reason I would, especially in non-PPR, it makes me much more advantageous to want to play Kareem Hunt. Also, traded Hunt for Flowers this week. Did I win? Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco is expected to be back here within the next couple of weeks. So, great move. ETN or risk it with Bucky on Monday. I'm not playing Bucky Irving against Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense has been absolutely elite against running backs this year, especially on the ground. So, and that's where Bucky's going to see most of his work. I'm playing Travis Etienne. So, that being said, looks like we got through all the questions. We will be back again tonight, for the waivers question for the waivers. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we don't have a bunch of injuries and all that stuff to deal with today, but inevitably something's going to happen. So, but we will be back again tonight. Probably, usually we'll go live at the halftime of the Sunday night football game, which tonight's game looks good. Colts and Vikings. I'm looking forward to that one. So, just keep it locked in here.
Downs and Myers.
Yep, I agree. Yep, I would keep it Downs and Myers for sure. Love both those matchups for sure. But anyways, we'll be back again tonight. Hope everybody has a good Sunday, good football Sunday. Let's get some W's this week. And like I said, we'll be back again tonight to answer all your questions.
Next.
Kyler for me. So anyways, keep it locked in here. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.